Hello and welcome to Pelican Crafts. I'm Brenda and I'm here today to tell you all about this new paper package, Pastel Mauve, and it is by Paperomia. Used to be called Book and Planners, but now they are Paperomia. I have been selected as a designer for them, and I want to show you their fantastic papers. Isn't this just absolutely gorgeous? Look at all this. The colors are great. The flowers are just fantastic. There's 12 pages to this paper pack. Isn't this just fantastic? And I'm going to show you what I'm going to create out of it. The difference in the size of the design is how I printed it. Some of it I said fit to page, some I printed 100%, all with different things in mind for the use. But that is the paper pack. It is absolutely gorgeous. When I first got the paper pack, I just had ideas coming out all around, and I decided I was going to make a gift card, a pocket, and a little journal. So I'm going to get busy and show you how to create these. I'm going to start with the gift card, or the greeting card. I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I love Stampin' Up! Products, so all the papers that I normally use are from Stampin' Up! On this one, I used 3 of their main colors. I used Basic White for the card base. I used Gorgeous Grape for the first layer, Highland Heather for the second layer, and then of course the Gorgeous Print from Paperomia. In addition, I used a Love Die from Stampin' Up's retired stamp set called Well Said. You can't get this anymore unless you buy it on whatever that place is you buy stuff. And they also have a set of dies that go with it. So this, I'm using the Love from this set. And I will get cracking here. First thing I'm going to do is pull out my paper trimmer. Just a moment. Sorry about that. I had to remember where I put my paper trimmer. I've been kind of scatterbrained. My husband's been going through some medical problems, so sometimes I'm here and sometimes I'm kind of not. So what we do is the paper from Stampin' Up! Is 8.5 by 11. So what I do is I cut it in half at 5.5 inches, and then I turn it around, one of them, and I score it at 4.25. I cut the paper on the long side at 5.5. 5.5 is 11, and then I score it at 4.25 because that is on the short side of 8.5, and when you fold it in half, you have a 4.25 by 5.5 inch card. The next one I do is I'm going to cut the Gorgeous Grape, and I cut it to 5.25. And then I cut it at 4. What I'm going to do is I'm going down 1/4 inch total so that we create a border, a white border around the card. And then I attach it on here. I center it and I attach it. Then the last one we're going to do is the Highland Heather. I cut it at 5 and 3 3/4. Again, going down 1/4 inch total to give you that Gorgeous Grape border. And there again, you center that on there, and we have the makings of our card. So I'm going to put that off to the side because we know what it looks like now. Then we're going to choose a design. And what I wanted to choose may not be what you want to choose. So we just go through and we pick one of our designs. I had printed that smaller, and these are all at full size. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of my smaller prints, and we can use that for this. This is a gorgeous one. Well, they're all gorgeous. What can I say? So we want to cut this at 4 3/4. Excuse me, 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So what I like to do first is cut this down. And if you cut into the paper just a little bit, that's okay. Again, I printed these off at a lot of different sizes. I can't tell you the exact one, but I believe it was at 65% to get this size. And so now we're left with the gorgeous print only. Get rid of the trash. And then we're going to decide what do we want as our focal point. I'm thinking I want part of the form behind it and the flower. So, and this right now at 65% is a little over 4 inches. And I need 4 3/4 this way and 3 1/2 this way. So I have room to play. If I want to keep this whole total edge, I can, and just move this over and cut off this. But I kind of like that little flower too. So I'm going to come in a little bit here, get it up to the top so I cut straight. Cut that off. Then I'm going to turn it around at the 3 1/2 inch mark and trim off a little bit on that side. So now we have that, and then we need to cut it at 4 3/4. So again, I like the top, so I'm going to go over here to 4 3/4. And like I said, choose the pattern that you like and the size you like. Because you may want to layer another sheet of white on here, because I left a white border on the original one because it was a little bit smaller than what I had anticipated. But there you go. See, that fits right over that. Just a little short, but we can adjust that a little bit to wear a little bit of white. So it looks great on there. So, see, that looks just perfect. Center it on there, and you've got a beautiful card already started. What I do next is I take my handy dandy Big Shot. For those of you who are not into die cutting as much as I am, this is a Big Shot. You can buy it from Sizzix, you can buy it from Stampin' Up. They have a different looking one now. They've upgraded. And I'm using one of the magnetic plates, and you put a pad underneath. This, as you can tell, it's well worn, well loved. We use it a lot. We put it on there. I have a piece of white paper. I'm going to put love on there. Any way you want, doesn't matter as long as it fits. And then we're going to run this through. And the popping and cracking is normal. Although, oop, there we go. I was going to say, although I don't hear any popping and cracking. And you can sometimes use your fingernail and punch out the words. And we have love. What I did on the original card is I punched out about 4 of them. And then I stacked them so that you would get a 3D effect. Because it's raised up a little bit there. I think you can see where it is a little bit thicker. And that's how you do that. You take these and I'll do it again. And I'll do a few and show you what I mean. Okay. And these dies like to move around on their own. that's where you can use washi tape, or they have special tape that you can purchase that will hold those little guys down so that they don't move around on you. With really intricate dies, it's a good idea to get some tape. Okay, so I just take this, try to hang on to it, and you just stack them. They do stack fairly easy. I put glue on the top one, and then I just stack it, and the glue is playful enough that you can put it on there and then move it around a little bit to get them identically layered. And I'm not having too good of luck here on screen. There we go. So that's what that is. That's how I did that, and then I glued that down. And then on the inside, you can put whatever sentiment you want. I happen to have a happy birthday die, and I cut out a happy birthday and stuck it on the inside and created the card. Now, for this beautiful little pocket that I completed, it's very simple. There's two ways to do it. I'm going to show you both ways. Let me get rid of the Big Shot stuff, and let's go back to a pretty sheet of paper. Again, this is one I printed off earlier. I purchased a set of dies from scrapbook.com, and they're called nested pockets. There's 4 of them, and they're buried, but here they are. And they come in a packet of 4, and I used this size. This size is a little big, as you can see, because we're getting white on the edges here. But that's okay, because that gets folded under like that, and nobody's going to know that you have a little bit of white there. So you put the die cutting part down, and then you kind of center it where you want to cut. What do you want on that flower, or on the pocket? I think that looks pretty good. So once again, I have to get rid of some of this extra white, because the Big Shot is only 6 inches wide. So, and to make it easier for me, I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of this off. Oh, I look like I'm back in kindergarten with that cut. Another way you can do this too, you can fold it over. This is probably faster than cutting. Rip some off. Just all you're trying to do is to get it narrow enough to go through the Big Shot. That works faster, easier, and we're onward to bring back the Big Shot. Here we go. Take off the white, put in the design right side up so I can see what I'm doing. And then we place this on here, and we get the picture we want, and we run it through. And like I said, that popping and cracking, that's good. That's all good. Okay. And I'll turn it over, and you can see where they scored it. So you just fold it on the score line. Sometimes it's better to do it from the back side, so you know where the score line is, because sometimes they disappear in those beautiful images. And then you turn it back over and you fold it again. Just like that. And you have your pocket. That is how to do it with using a die and your Big Shot or whatever cutting machine you have. Some people still have the Cuttlebug, and there's several different good machines out there. The other way is to take a picture or a piece of paper, and we know how big we want it. On this one, we want it 6. I lost track of it where I have my notes. We want it 3 3/4 by 3 7/16. So again, we bring out our handy dandy ruler, or we use our cutter. Our cutter will help us tremendously. So what do we want on the pocket? I think right in the center would be great. So let's cut a little bit of this off, a little bit of this off, a little bit of this. What I'm trying to do is get down to the image so that I can see easily what I want to do. Some of you younger ladies may have better eyesight and might be able to do it totally. Okay, so let's see where we are. So 3 3/4 inches is right here. So we only need to lose a 1/4 inch. So I'm thinking we take 1/8 of an inch off each side and we should be good. So this is 4 1/8. So we just want to come in here like this. Take a sliver off. Take a sliver, whoops. Got to be careful when you're cutting that close to the edge. Sometimes the cutter just doesn't care for how close it is. So you have to come in a little bit easy, take it a little easy. Okay, so there's our pocket. Now we want 3 7/16. So 3 inches, 7/16 is right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up a little bit, kind of cut that vase off so that it's not in the picture since we're not going to use all of it. So I'm going to come over here, cut that down. Now we've got our pocket. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go in and we are just going to do, that's a 1/2 inch, oops. I'm sorry, that's a 1/4 inch. I think that's a good size. We're going to use our scoring blade and we're going to score that just like that. Bring this down so you can see a little bit better. And then we're going to turn it this way and we're going to score it again. And one more time. So our pocket is scored, and now you can see the score lines on the back. Well, we want to get a nice even corner. So what we're going to do is where this score line and this score line meet, we're going to cut right in dead center on both of those. So when we fold that in, we have the same look as we did on the other one. Whoops, I made it a little bit bigger, didn't I? See, we have the corners turned in. What I like to do too, and this is just me, that you do not have to do this, I like to come in and angle the side corners. The die cut does that for you, and that's just a great idea. Then we come in with our circle punch. Any size circle punch you want. You can have a small divot out or you can have a bigger divot. I usually use, this is a 1 1/4. I usually use a 1 inch to 1 1/2 inch, somewhere in there. You center it up. I did not want to cut. Let's see if I use 2 pieces. Okay, I'm going to use cardstock underneath. Okay, my bad. Let's see. It still didn't want to cut for me. That's okay, because we can go back in and we can trim it out ourselves, and it will look just fine. Now, depending on whether you want the vintage look or not, this is where you would take your dauber and go around the side. Whoa, I missed that center, didn't I? Not good. All right. Then the last one that I'm going to show you is this little journal. It's gorgeous here. I mean, it's simple. Put it in a pocket. This pocket makes perfect. You just stick it in there in your journal and off you go. So again, I like to use one that lends itself to going sideways. Like all these flowers are all going the same direction. So if you fold that in half, you get two that way. And then this one, it's still a beautiful back. It doesn't matter. And I think the one I used is already gone. So let's use this one. And again, you do not have to use the size I use. This is printed at 65%. I'm just going to go with it today. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to come over. Because what I do is I cut it out and then I measure it, and that's how I know what size paper to use for the inside layers, pages. And you can, I use lined paper. You can use plain paper. You can use coffee stained paper. Whatever you want. You can put in doilies, paper doilies. Those work really good. Just give your little booklet a little bit of pizzazz. Then I go ahead and I just fold it in half, and then I measure. Okay. So this is a little bit longer than it's 5 3/4. 5 3/4 by, looks like 4 1/8. So 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. So we get some paper. I have been using, and I gotta quit using it because it's almost gone. I need to start saving it. I have this old vanilla legal pad, and I've been taking off a sheet and using it, and it's just gorgeous paper. It has a real silky texture to it. It's just really nice. So what I like to do is I like to come in and just cut off the edge where there's a border. So our book won't be able to have that because this book is smaller than this paper. If we were making a 8.5 by 11 sheet, we could leave those on there and have the natural border. Okay, so those are off. And see, been talking, now I don't even remember how long I want it. We're going this way because we want the stripes going sideways. So we need to figure out how far up to come here. Again, that was 4 1/8. So we come over here, and 4 1/8 would make the inside pages the same size as the cover. So we want to go a little bit smaller. So instead of 4 1/8, let's go 3 3/4. And the same with the width. We had that at 5 3/4. So let's go at 5 1/2 for that. Then when we fold it in half, it will just slide into that book really, really nice. So, fold that. We have a bone folder here. Bone folders are our friends. They do make these nice and sharp, crisp edges on the pockets too. It just makes it really nice. So we have our page. Now we're going to take our journal that we made and we're going to stick it in. Now we can center it inside. And see, we've got that little edge all the way around. And you can put a rubber band on there. You can put some stretchy thread on there. I like to take it and I like to come in. I can get the light just right for myself and put a staple along that center line, fold, and then you have your little booklet, and you can decorate it any way you want. You could put love here if you wanted. You could put cherish. You could put anything on there, and that would just dress that up a little bit. You can also put some lace on there. Now, bear with me, this lace is not the lace I would use necessarily, but it's a piece I have handy. You could put a piece of lace on the side if you wanted to dress it up, on the bottom. There, and you can use any lace you want. This just happens to be a piece that I have sitting on the desk. So those are the three pieces that I thought of right away as an introduction. And come back, please, because I'm going to make more things with that. My next goal is to do a scrapbook page. So come on back and see what I do. And have a great day, everybody. Thank you.